Gonna do it on the ground.
Where do you want
huh?
them? Where-
Okay, give me.
That says it's flashing there now.
Okay, so that says it's going. And can you see me?
Yeah, of course I can.
Very good. So this is how to join a net 101. First of all, we lay our net down, just pan that and butt up so that we're pretty close to what we're going to do. Second thing we need is a needle and some yarn. And very quickly we will pop our yarn, because we like to have our needles continuous with a little knot, and we will then put our yarn onto our needle so that it is loaded. And lastly, to get this along, it is always handy to have a very good pair of scissors to cut. Black Panther scissors, very good. Alright, so we're looking at our net, and we've got to make sure that we join this properly. So we will start with a little tie on the edge, very little, simple little tie, where we're just simply going to go through, hold our needle in a needle holding position, and do a couple of little granny knot tie here, triple so it doesn't come apart, and a quick slice with our Black Panther scissors. Okay, then we will put a little tie in the middle, make sure that's where it ends up. Triple granny tie, 1, 2, 3, and now Black Panther scissors, beautiful. And on our edge, a nice little tie again. This is just, these ties are just so that we know exactly where we're going. And I will probably even do a couple of filler ones, just so that we're not joining the wrong piece of net to the wrong piece. Oh, very neat and tidy. Because this is not a wide piece of net, I'm going to grab that, I'm looking at that, I'm seeing that that needs to be joined about there to there, finding my two edges, and I'll just put another one there, and you'll see why in a second. Triple granny knot again, it's just a tie on. Black Panther scissors again. Alright, now if you move that just up here, we'll get the crux of this. We now want to join this net. And we want to make it strong so that it lasts the lifetime of the net. So we are using a heavily UV stabilised lacing yarn that will last the lifetime of the net. No good using fishing lines. Life expectancy today, lucky is 12 months. No good using cottons that you buy at the sewing shop. All rubbish. All made by Chinese who believe that the faster it breaks down, the faster you get a repeat sale. So you've got to use the right gear. Triple granny knot tie on. Now, it might appear a bit rough, but I am simply going to go around and in and drop back for a lace on. Around and in and drop back, blanket stitch. Around and in drop back through, blanket stitch. When I want to seal it, I'm going to do it twice. 2 blanket stitches. Can't do it any other way. You can do around you'll notice I'm not doing individual hole, and then you can put a blanket stitch, or if you wanted to get fancy you can go blanket stitch, watching this, get the camera right, go through for the blanket stitch, holding that end and then coming back on itself, and that's actually a true knot. I'll do that again. Blanket stitch, holding that end out, bang, back through, a true knot. Alright, so we're looking to really get cracked. So you'll notice I'm not going right on the edge, I'm going a couple in, around, blanket stitch, so I can do it that way with a double blanket stitch. Right, well that's quite a knot. Or I can go around, blanket stitch, holding the tail out, blanket stitch. Right, lovely little knots. And obviously my self-loaded needle just keeps coming. So I prefer probably myself blanket stitch, because then I can start thinking about the footy. And I'm pretty disappointed today that I've forgotten my beanie. But anyway, it isn't really footy season. Had the horror of watching the cricketers get demolished by South Africa in Perth. It's probably put me off sport for a couple of days. So around, blanket stitch, or you could go little rounds for a little path, pull it tight like that, and blanket stitch, or once again you go a few little rounds, 1, 2, 3, pull it a little bit tight, around, going into the blanket stitch motion whilst holding that tail. See how I hold that tail, and then coming back through that hole, boom, that's a knot. And that knot is part of the tie off, so that's what we're looking for. You know, very, very strong. You know, some people might say it's the neatest, but by crikey, it's not going to let you down. And we only want to do this once. Very important that you continue to pull the net sideways as you're doing this, so that it's at its maximum sideways elongation. That means when you get it up, you're not going to have a net that's not wide enough. Okay, now the last part, as I'm running out of my preload yarn, is I'm going to go for a tie off. That's when I'm finished. So let's just go back to the round. 1, 2, 3. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Pull it a little bit tight. Nice. Come in for our tie off blanket stitch. Alright. 1. Holding that edge out.